Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Johnny and today I want to talk about shadow work and specifically where to begin with shadow work. We hear this term thrown around a lot and we all know we should be doing some form of shadow work along with our spiritual practice, as shadow work is usually the reasons why we can't seem to move forward or we can't seem to find more peace is because there's unresolved emotions and trauma within the body and mind. But it's hard to know where to even begin, where to look, because sometimes the thing with shadow work is it's stuff that's been repressed, stuff we don't even know about. It's something it's hidden from us. So how do we reveal what's in the shadows? And how we do this is we look for wherever we are suffering in life, wherever there is a problem, wherever there is suffering, there's usually a deeper reason behind why that situation is causing you to suffer. For example, let's say there's someone out there, maybe a boss, and they trigger you. Emotionally, they cause you to feel triggered. And usually our instinct is to go, it's because my boss is a dick and they have a superiority complex and they treat me like I'm worthless and all those things. And that's why I'm suffering right now. But if we look into the situation a bit deeper, why does this person trigger me? Why does this person and not other people and not other bosses trigger me? Why does this person in particular trigger me? And maybe you say, because they have this superiority complex and they feel they are greater than me and I don't like that. And then it's like, okay, well let's go a bit deeper. Why don't you like that they make you feel unworthy? Are they triggering some sense in you of unworthiness? Does them acting a certain way towards you bring up a feeling, an unresolved feeling, or like a feeling you feel to be true when someone doesn't treat you right? You feel unworthy. So you get angry at them for bringing that up inside of you. We have to just look into every situation. What wound is being brought up in this situation? A lot of the time it's this person or this situation is making me feel unworthy. Now, not that it isn't healthy to have boundaries with people. It is healthy to, obviously, if someone's being a certain way, to have your boundary with them. But usually the reason why we don't have these boundaries is because whatever the emotion that being triggered is causing us to sort of freeze up and not respond in a healthy way. Because maybe someone makes us feel unworthy, so we feel that way, so we act out of that place of feeling unworthy. And it usually polarizes between you either hide away or just sort of cop it on the chin and not say anything, or you'll overcompensate and you'll get angry and feel prideful and how dare you and the overreaction. A healthy sign is when there's a middle, which is just healthily asserting a boundary in a manner that isn't from an emotional place. But this can be applied to any situation out there, anything where you're suffering, where there's resistance, where there's suffering. That's where you need to look. Maybe you struggle with relationships. Maybe you find yourself always in toxic relationships and you don't know why. Maybe you're spiritual and you meditate and do all these healthy things, but for some reason you just keep ending up in toxic relationships. And you got to inquire, you know, what these relationships I'm in, what are they telling me? Not what are they doing to me, but what response is that called? What emotion? What is coming up when I'm in these situations? Why is this person's situation? What is the core reason they're triggering me? Because there's a difference between noticing when something isn't right or someone is being a certain way. Like if we notice someone who just seems particularly a bit shady or whatever, we'll probably we'll avoid that person. But when they actually trigger emotional suffering within you, that's usually a telltale sign that there's something deeper going on with it inside you. And there's another example is not related to people, is maybe you suffer because you don't feel you have enough in life. You suffer because you tell yourself, oh, I'm not a good person, or I haven't made it in life yet. I'm not being my best. I'm not being successful. I'm not worthy of whatever yet. No, I think a lot of it, usually if you try, well, in my own experience, has come down to patterns come from a sense of unworthiness. It's usually at the core of most of our experiences and traumas. Something happened to us that made us feel unworthy, unlovable. And then there's this defense of that. For some reason, we believe it to be true, and then we act out of insecurity and not security. And it's sort of like the core fuel for seeking things other than it is worthiness, because our core in life is to just feel worthy. And if I make something of myself in the world, if I can do this, if I can do that, we sort of feel that maybe we'll feel fulfilled. But with shadow work, it's just undoing the stories. And maybe yours isn't unworthy, maybe it's other things, maybe there's other insights you'll come to about yourself, but you just look for wherever there is just resistance, and wherever there is suffering in life is where to look. To sum up this video, if you don't know where to start with emotion work, shadow work, look to where your resistance is. Do you have social anxiety? Do you fear social situations, so you hibernate? What is it about social situations do you fear? Do you fear being vulnerable with someone? Do you fear expressing your true self? This is where we look at. This is why spirituality is so. It's kind of helpful being in the world and not off, in solitude. Solitude has its time and place, also important. But at the same time, it's good to be in the world and be dealing with people, because then everything around you, life around you, will bring up everything that is unconscious. Because these unconscious patterns within us, the thing is, we tend to manifest triggers for ourselves. It's like these self-fulfilling prophecies. And it's like maybe we feel anxious about, hanging out with people. If we ever get social anxiety, so every time we go to be social, we feel anxious, and then it's the social situation's awkward, reinforcing the idea, sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. And we got to look into those. What am I anxious about? What do I fear? And then the stories will come up. As we start to dig into what's triggering us, the stories will come up. And we just sort of see those stories as stories. And this can be quite intense, and a lot of stuff can come up. So, go with caution. But once the story is seen, we have to not identify with it. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes there's a strong emotional charge behind the story and it won't go straight away. But we have to see it. These are just words. This is a story which is causing uncomfortable sensations in the body, or not even uncomfortable sensations. A story, sensations. Simplify it. Once we take that thought to be real, we take the uncomfortable sensations and emotions to be real, and that sort of can cause us to spiral into just discomfort and pain. But if we see the story as it comes up, rest, see it, disidentify from it, see that we are that which is aware of whatever the story is, or nothing at all. There's just a story arising and a sensation. And this is how we sort of dig into, because there's blocks. Sometimes we want to be able to, we want to awaken and we want to like feel peaceful all the time, but there's things can't keep coming up. And usually the response is, I need to like read more spirituality. I need more pointing. I need to rest more in awareness. And it's like, no, sometimes we actually need to dig into what is causing us this suffering and comfort. Bring up whatever is causing us, see it as it is, bring it into the light and let it go. And this sort of, this is, I think, sort of the basics of shadow work, and probably the whole thing is just digging, inquiring into yourself, seeing what stories are there. Because if we keep looking over things and repressing them, they'll come back to bite us later. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.